What's going on, everybody? It's me, Chavez. Thank you so much for stopping by the channel and taking a few minutes out of your day to check this video out. I tell you what, if at the end of this video you found it to be informative, you gained some sort of value, you like what you heard, you like what you saw, then go ahead and drop a like, subscribe, click the notification icon. It would mean a ton to me. What we have going on in today's video, just like the thumbnail indicates, just like the title indicates, we are going to be diving into the Optic Basketball brand. In no specific year am I focusing on. I just want to go over my experience since being back in a hobby, some things that have really stood out to me about this brand, why I like it so much, and I'm going to be sharing that with you today, starting with some of these base cards, the rated rookie base cards, your common, your veteran base cards, then going into your inserts, starting with the common inserts, the non-parallel, the non-prism inserts, then getting into some of those same inserts, but on the parallel prism color format, and then ending it with a few optic cards that I have had graded. And I want to share with you why I decided to get these specific cards graded and what stands out to me once they're in a slab. So if that sounds good to you, if you like what you hear, please be sure to stick around. And without further ado, let's get this going. All right, everybody, let's just jump right on into some of these base cards that you're going to find in the Optic Basketball sets. I went ahead and pulled out some rated rookie cards for you, and then also some base card or veteran common cards from the Optic set. One reason I really like the rated rookie or the rookie cards out of the Optic set is because of that rated rookie logo. It really stands out, it really pops, it's super recognizable. Year over year, Optic does a great job of uniforming their cards. So you know an Optic rated rookie card when you see one, regardless of the year the player is drafted, you're gonna find a lot of similarities in these cards. Just like other base cards or common cards, you're not going to find a Prism logo located on the back of the card. That Prism logo is what lets you know that it's not a base card or a typical base card. It is a parallel of some sort. It is a numbered insert, something like that. But these are just your standard base cards, high print cards, tons of these out there in the market. When it comes to your common cards, your veteran base cards, it doesn't matter the player, you're gonna see the same format when it comes to these. Doesn't matter the year the card was made, you're still gonna see a lot of similarities in the borders, in the player's name, things like that. Same thing on the back of these cards. You're not gonna see any Prism logo on these cards, just a high print card. A lot of these out there in the market. One of the biggest reasons I like the Optic cards is because of its quality. It's a super thick card. It's not a paper card, or a thin paper card, I should say. The corners are typically very strong in these cards. I personally have not pulled a damaged product from an Optic pack or a box, so I really appreciate that about the product. And then also, if you are a grader, if you are somebody who is looking to get your cards graded, Optic is a very cool set to start with because the borders will basically give you all the information you need at first glance. The centering is very easy to see if it's off, where it's off, front and back. So if you are considering getting some of your Optic cards graded, right off the bat, it's easy to eyeball and see if you have something that's worth investing time in, or if you don't have something that's worth investing time in. So those are just a few things I appreciate about the Optic set, starting with the base cards. And now we're gonna dive right on into some of these inserts, these common inserts that you're gonna find within the Optic Basketball set. All right, let's talk a little bit about some of these inserts and why I consider these inserts to be common inserts or base inserts. Though they don't look very common, they don't look very generic, they look pretty awesome, right? A lot of cool designs, tons of variety going on here. Just for the simple fact that none of these cards come equipped with a Prism logo or any sort of short print number on the back, such as 1 of 49, 1 of 50, something like that. Meaning that these cards are high print. So there's a lot of them out there in the market, and anytime you have a market, full of the same card, it will just drive the value down a little bit because they're easier to come across. It's harder for people to to price these cards up, and they're just not rare enough to be considered anything other than a base card. But nonetheless, they're really cool cards. So I just wanted to show you a few that I've pulled since being back in the hobby, starting with Air Defense, My House, T-321 Splash, Fantasy Stars, Franchise Features, Express Lane, and underneath the Express Lane, we have a League Leaders insert of Russell Westbrook. And then we have this version of Express Lane. This version of Express Lane was pulled from a 2021 box. This version of Express Lane was pulled from an 2018, 2019 box. My favorite of these inserts is the My House insert. I just love this design. I love the comic book feel. I love how it kind of makes him look like a superhero. Specific players that I'm collecting within this insert are Luka, Joel Embiid, Jason Tatum, and John Morant, and not just in this base format, but also in some of these color parallel formats. They just look super cool. So let's move on into these very same inserts, but in the color parallel format, the prism format. Just another layer to what Optic brings to the table, and another reason why I'm such a fan of this brand. All right, so let's get into some of these color parallel inserts. So like I mentioned, same inserts as we just saw, but in the color parallel variety: purple, blue, pink, hollow, but it's the same format, it's the same insert. This is just a great example of how Optic creates depth within their inserts and different levels within their inserts. So again, one of my favorite inserts is the My House insert, and even I was a little surprised when I pulled this My House of Dame Lillard, because I thought, wow, cool, a blue prism of Dame, Lillard, that's awesome. When I flipped it over, I noticed that it was numbered, so I was like, that's also really cool. So not only is it a prism, a color parallel of Dame Lillard, is a number to 85 of Dame Lillard. So not all inserts are created equal. This is a great example of that. Like on the plus side, on the negative side, not all inserts are created equal. Let's look at some of these hyper pink prisms that Optic does such a great job of flooding the market with. You will find these pretty much in every Optic box pack that you purchase. So because the print run of these is so high, they're just not rare. They're not going to hold as much value, and basically everybody has hyper pink prisms. So again, they look cool. You definitely don't want to throw these away. They're not junk cards, but they're just not going to hold as much value as some of these other color parallel or number cards. Some other inserts to note: your splash inserts, your T-321 inserts, all look great in that color parallel format. Your rated rookie, and then your purples and your hollows of just like that common base card are also to note, because the same photo is being used in all these cards, whether it's a purple, a hollow, pink. So it's the same photo. That's why it kind of looks like a base card, but obviously it's a little bit more than a base card because of that reflective surface and then that prism logo on the back. Same thing to be said for the rated rookie cards. Same photo being used in the base, in the purple, in the pink, and whatever. So they're gonna look identical in terms of the photo, but obviously what helps it stand out is that color pop and then that prism logo at the top here. So last, Express Lane. I wasn't a real big fan of these until I saw them in like the parallel format. So you got your hollow, you have your purples, and then I started seeing some of these old school players like Stockton, Wade, Peyton, and then AI. I mean, that's pretty cool. And then just to see the way it pops, with that reflective surface. Yeah, I'm a fan of these, but I will be honest with you, when I first pulled the base version, I didn't really think too much of them. So there you have it. Hope that helps clear up or just give you a little bit more information on some of these color parallel inserts that Optic provides, all the depth that they provide, so much variety within these inserts. And lastly, we're going to spend a few minutes going over some of these Optic cards in the graded format and why I'm such a huge fan in getting these graded. Stick around. All right, so here we go. Let's talk a little bit about Optic graded cards here. I have a few examples of that. These were some of the first cards. These actually were the first cards I ever got graded. Never went through the grading process before, and then once I got back into the hobby, I took a larger interest in that part of the hobby and getting things graded. So I decided to go with SGC for my first grading experience, and I have a few examples of Optic cards in a graded format for you here. So I wanted to start with this LaMelo Ball rated rookie purple prism. It just looks so damn good when I pulled it from the pack, and I just honestly wanted to see what that purple would look like inside that black slab, and it looks really cool. I'm not gonna lie. Obviously you hope for 10s, but a 9.5 is also a very strong grade. It's easy to see the bordering on this card, left to right, right to left, top to bottom. Flipping it over, you can see the same thing. Now, obviously, once it's in the slab, it's easy to see that it's off center, right to left or left to right. But when I pulled it, I thought it looked real good, and it was, you know, centered pretty well, and I was willing to take a shot and see if I could grab a 10 on that one. This Anthony Edwards rated rookie is also a 9.5, and at first glance, looking at the borders, I thought it was very well centered. Looking at the back of the card, now I can see that it's also slightly off from right to left or left to right. But you know, that's the thing about Optic cards, is that they give you so much information. They provide you with so much info, you know, just on the card itself. It's easy to eyeball it and see, you know, if there are any flaws. Really what I'm looking for is just the centering on these cards, because the corners are always strong, the edges are always strong. Really, I'm just hoping for a well-centered card, and I just go from there. This card, this My House Purple Prism of LeBron James, graded out a 10, and it is a little harder to see the borders on the front of the card since the entire surface is purple. However, turning it over, it's very easy to see that the borders are centered. The card looks good. It does look a little off here from left to right, but that's only because of that shadow boxing there. But here and here, the borders look great. It was good enough to grade out a 10. And again, you know, that's a perk of these Optic cards. It just give you so much to look at. And even with the naked eye, you can just see if it's a card that you want to invest in and put money on to get graded and to lock in that value. These are two examples of Optic graded cards that I purchased from eBay. So here's another example, not just me finding success in grading Optic cards, but other people as well. Rated rookie of Jason Tatum, and then a second-year card of Luka Doncic, both graded out a 10. One thing I've noticed is that as the market becomes super heavy with rookie cards and the prices increase, making the entry point higher and a little, you know, harder to get into, I believe a lot of people are going to start looking at second and third year cards of these superstar players. And so I suggest start investing in those second and third year cards now. I got this Luka, you know, graded 10 for a really, really good price, under $50 to be honest with you. And it has the potential to increase, you know, 2x, 3x over the next few years if his career continues to ascend the way it is ascending now. But, you know, that's just something to keep in mind. But, you know, going back to just what Optic provides you in helping you grade out some of these cards, again, it's just very easy to see any flaws within the card bordering, the centering. You already know you're going to get a strong edges and strong corners. Now you just hope for a well-centered card. So again, Optic making it very, very easy on us to invest in the grading process. I hope you enjoyed this video. As I mentioned at the beginning of this video, if you found interest or you found this video to be informative and you like what you saw, like what you heard, to drop a like, to subscribe, click the notification icon, because it really, really means a ton to me. So I hope this video served you well. I hope you gained a little bit from it. And until the next video, Chavez is out.